Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Hello, hello.
Lauren, good to see
Good.
you. And Ella, good to see you. See, we got good company this morning. It's good to see everyone today. I'm recovered from the flu and I still have a little bit of a smoky voice, but I think it'll make this more like
That's
Smoky.
very
intentional. Yeah.
smoky. Also, today coincides with an interesting evolution in my life where my coffee now is totally black. Like not totally, like it has
Oh,
some in it, but I don't have creamer in the coffee anymore. Like it's done. Like it's
Congratulations.
slowly
the
been going away.
scandal.
I didn't mean it. Like it's not like I meant to do that, but then I got to the point where I was like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? And now it's like
Hmm.
I feel like a full-fledged adult now because I don't have creamer in my coffee. I think if I lose the Splenda, then I will have totally reached. Speaking of arcs, I would have reached my like adult arc. Like I'm like goes totally black coffee, nothing in it. Like that's when you've reached, full
That's
adulthood.
when
So
you reach adulthood is when
that's
you
when you
drink
reach
black
that's when you
coffee.
reach adulthood. So
Well, what
um
happens when you're drinking Red Bull? Because that's what I'm doing. So I
um
don't know what that means.
can you guys hear me a little better by the way? Sorry, I saw some comment about is this
Oh
I
yeah,
turned up the
much
mic.
better.
Okay, sorry about that.
Yeah.
What were you saying? What were you asking me?
I was just saying I drink Red Bull, so I don't know what that means for me being an adult, but
You're extreme. You're extreme with the X. Like
extreme.
extreme. Like X extreme. So anyways, well, how about you, Ella? How are you today?
I'm good. I just have some water. So
Whoa, the most adult of us all.
Ella's like, whoa, slow down, slow down, slow down. Well, it's good to see
yeah.
all of you this morning. It's really exciting. This is the beginning of Artist, the training arc. So we're really excited about this. I have done lots of like one-on-one sessions with students and have helped teach them what I've learned. And the cool thing about it was that as part of the process, I also learned. Even though you're like, oh, one thing that I've learned about teaching, which I never thought I was a good teacher at first, and then I was like, okay, maybe I'm not as bad as I thought at it. But the cool thing about it was that as I would do it, I would learn new things too, or I would reinforce things that helped me. And so we had I saw a lot of awesome improvement in not only in the other artists I was working with, but in myself too, as part of this process, because I was kind of teaching myself. So, anyways, we thought it would be. We're starting this year with doing events every month, and this training arc is a event we're doing to help like other artists who are like maybe you're just like starting, maybe you're just like, oh, I can only draw stick figures, which is like that's the best place to start. If you can draw stick figures, and Lauren can tell you as another trained artist, she can tell you that's a great place
Everyone
to start.
starts somewhere.
You start from there, yeah. So anyway, so we have a 3-day event where we're going to be having 3 events per day. It's going to be a lot of fun. Pull out you don't need anything fancy. You can draw on the back of a napkin if you want, whatever. You just have to start, right? You just have to start. That's kind of the thing. So we're going to be doing some cool things. This is kind of our opening session. I'm going to be kind of showing you what we're going to be kind of going over the next couple of days, and then I'm going to be dissecting some of my own art in this session, and then we'll kind of set up for the next couple sessions. So, any thoughts, Lana? I mean, Ella or Lauren? It's the L's. It's the L's. Everyone has L's in this place. I can't.
I know. There's too many. There's too
There's too
many of
many. Do,
us.
do you have any
yeah.
thoughts you want to share or things you guys want to say before we get started?
Well, this is going to be a really fun week. We've got 9 events total, so it really is sort of like a little digital con. It's free. A couple of announcements. First of all, if you are not on our Discord, it's open this week. It only lasts till the end of the artist training arc. There's a link down in the description. It's free to get in. Normally that's reserved for like our Patreon members or if you purchase a core rulebook or something like that. So if you're new with us, please go ahead and use that link and jump in. We want to see your art. We want to meet you. Once we kind of open up like once a month for that kind of stuff. Also, throughout this week, we're going to be mentioning our Kickstarter, which is about to launch. We're actually ending the last event with kind of like a mini launch party. It opens on the 30th, and so we're gonna be launching it then. I'll put a link here in the description real quick, but it's all about OCs, so we thought what a way to get into our Kickstarter with the OC journal, by like drawing OCs and teaching you guys how to draw your characters, because the journal is physical, so you're gonna have to draw, I guess you could print stuff out too, but you're gonna want to draw stuff. You're gonna want to draw moments and fun stuff. So this is gonna be a cool thing there. And if you want updates on it, that's the link to it, so that you can go hit remind me, which is gonna be super cool. So we're gonna talk about more about that as we go throughout the week. But I just wanted to mention that real quick. We'll probably mention it at the end too. And then this first session is kind of like a beginning session. Who we are. If you don't know us, we create manga. RC is going to talk a little bit about himself and how he got into drawing manga and the studio stuff. And yeah, that's kind of what this opening session is going to be all about. So I'm going to let RC talk a little bit about, he's going to probably open a manga page and we're going to look at it. He's going to talk about how we got here and what Flux Destiny is, if you don't know. And if you're new with us, I just encourage you to say hi in the chat. We're very friendly. We want to meet you. So if you're new with us,
We're nice, I promise.
say hi. Yeah, we're nice. We're nice.
Well, yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun. Like she said, we're super nice. Jump into the server. Now's your time because we close it. Unless you buy one of our products or something, that's what you need to get in. So be sure you get in there. Okay. So before I move to the screen where we're going to start drawing and doing stuff, it's super important that you know that the only way you can become not just an artist or good at anything is that you have to be willing to suck at first, right? Like that's like the number one rule. It's like, and sucking is, I guess like relative. Like, some people are like, oh, I suck. And they're like beautiful artwork. Like, you all know those artists, right? Like, oh, I suck so much. Ella's laughing because I say that about my own stuff sometimes too. So. But you have to be willing to suck. You have to be willing to be like, look, the only way you'll learn is to be vulnerable. And the one thing that I regret in my own career is that I was too afraid to suck whenever I was younger. And what I meant by that is that I didn't go to school. Like I'm all self-taught in the work that I've done with my own artwork. Lauren went to a prestigious design school for this. I didn't do it because I was too scared. And I think it hindered my own growth because of that.
I want to say that both paths are very valid, though. Both are equally valid.
Absolutely.
It's just, art school, I think, just makes it faster.
Yeah, that's exactly my point, was that I was too afraid for anyone to criticize my work. And so I didn't go to have anyone teach me. And so my curve was like this when Lauren's curve is like this, right? Because she was more willing to be vulnerable, with it. So just be sure that you, and by the way, the cool thing about this is that you're probably watching this, at your desk, in your bed, whatever. Just draw. No one's watching. Just draw. It's okay. Just have a good time. So that's what I want to just encourage you. Have a good time. And every artist that you admire started off like everyone. No one came out of the womb drawing beautiful pieces, right? It's like any skill. You have to build it up from there. And so a little bit about me, if you're new here, I'm RC. I'm the creator of Flux Destiny and the Flux Fantasy TTRPG. We've got two of our awesome Hero Helix, our studio members here. We've got Ella, who's our studio manager. She designed the mechanics for the TTRPG. She writes all our awesome OC commissions. She's just my all-around right hand. I cannot live without Ella. You are the wind beneath my wings. I am.
Stop.
Lauren is just joined us a couple months ago, but she runs things in the community. She runs awesome events. She's out there helping spread the word about Flux Destiny. She's just an all-around awesome person, and we're so glad to have you with us. I spent many years, my whole career has been in entertainment. I have some of the highlights of my career. I founded the original entertainment group at Funimation and spent many years producing anime, live action movies, music, publishing. I worked for other entertainment companies and did the same. And so I have this long career of doing this. And so I kind of bring that now into the work that I do here at our studio, Hero Helix. So I'm excited to bring that and share those things with you. So, all right, I'm going to switch the screen and we're going to go right into what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys an overview. I'm going to take some of my own work and I'm going to start dissecting it a little bit and use it as a preview of what we're going to be learning during the next 3 days. And I think it's important to start with the finished image, like what I'm going to show you. And because that's what everyone sees. Everyone sees the finished image and they're like, oh, it comes out like that. It does not come out like that. In fact, Ella, thanks to Ella was always the one pushing me to like, no, go show yourself. Like I was always like very like, I don't want people to see the, don't look, don't look, don't look. You know, it's like Ella was the one that was always like pushing me, no, it's okay. Like, you know, and so finally I was like, fine, come look, you know, and so you'll see that there's this to get to what, you know, is refined work, you have to go through this, you know, the messiness of it, right? One of my favorite quotes that I read a couple years ago was, and it had to actually do with writing, but I think it really applies to art as well. It's like, you don't take like eggs and like flour and whatever and call it a disaster. Like, you know, you I'm butchering this quote, but basically the point is like, you don't look at like eggs and flour and sugar on their own, like as a group and go, oh, what a mess, until it's been baked. Right. And so it doesn't mean that it's a mess. You have to put the ingredients together to get to the final product, is I guess what I'm trying to say.
Wait,
Whatever. I'm done with quotes. No one appreciates them.
I love it. What do you mean? That was so good. I love that analogy.
All right, so I'm gonna switch over now. Here we go.
Which, by the way, as we go through this, I really just encourage you through all of our events to draw along with us. I know that this one in particular is not necessarily like drawing from scratch, but still draw. You know?
Yeah, and we'll be doing drawing from scratch sessions. This is just one that we're doing to kind of like get you guys warmed up to what we're doing. So let me put do not disturb because I don't want my phone to. Okay, here we go. All right, can you guys see? How's that look?
Yeah, I can see it.
Looks
Okay.
good.
All right, so what you're seeing here is, if you're not familiar, again, our main story is told through the Flux Destiny manga series. These are some pages from the manga that feature my work. And I chose a couple of these for a couple of different reasons. Is that because we're going to be doing several like you know, fundamental things. We're going to be talking about construction of heads. We're going to talk about like certain elements of like the face, like you know, including teeth, ears, hair, you know, general construction stuff. We're going to go through all that during the next couple of days. I think the biggest problem that people run into as artists, and I certainly did, was that, you know, you try to draw, and I'm guilty of this. Lauren, you probably were too, is that I would draw characters and then I would draw them like with the biggest clothes possible so I could hide anatomy. Right? So I didn't have to learn anatomy.
That's
right?
so true.
Yeah.
That's so real. That's so real.
So I think that when I learned that I had to stop doing that and that my work turned out much better as a result, it like radically changed the way that I drew. Once I started learning, I can't hide anymore. I was like, I got to do this right. Okay. So we're going to learn about that today. And what I'm about to show you now, as kind of dissecting these, is that you need to. This is the way I teach everything with this, and this is the way I learned. And I didn't know it. I kind of developed this technique as a kid. You know, I'm a child of the '90s, so you know, back then we used to like have tracing paper, and I would trace stuff. Right? I would start looking at other people's work, video game magazines, you know, stuff on the screen, whatever, and I would trace it. And what I didn't realize at the time was I was reverse engineering and learning how construction worked. And I apply that to everything I do whenever I'm teaching, is that take works that you like. If there's artists that you like, take their works and reverse engineer them the way that I'm going to reverse engineer my work right here for you. as a result, you're going to see, oh, I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that that's how they built it. Oh, that's how they build ears. That's how they do eyes. You're going to learn the shapes for that. So this technique is the first thing you're going to learn today is reverse engineering. And it's going to have a dramatic impact on your life if you learn it and use it properly. So let's start here with, and by the way, Ella, Lauren, like, I'm so used to saying Ella and Lana. Ella and Lauren, you guys love to hear your thoughts as I'm doing this. If you have any questions or things or comments you want to, as we're going through, we'll do it.
We can't talk because we're echoing.
You can't talk at all?
When we talk, we echo through your two mics.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on a second. Try now. Can you hear me now? Is this better?
Yeah, we can hear you. How does it sound?
Okay, Lauren isn't echoing anymore. I think you fixed it.
Okay,
I think we're good.
I didn't realize that I had the wrong mic muted. You should hear me a lot better now too.
Yeah.
Is this better? Okay, sorry about that.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Okay. All right, so let's take this piece right here. So we're going to take this this drawing right here. I'm choosing this one because it's perfect head. Obviously, it's
oh.
If I do say so myself. So I'm going to dim this a little bit, and this is what you can do. You can take an image that you like, a drawing that you like from anything, any art that you like, and put it in your Procreate, Photoshop, whatever, and dim it. If you don't have software like that, print it out. Print out your image, get tracing paper. You don't have to get super high tech. I think a lot of people get caught up with things being high tech. Like, it's not about being high tech. It's about just using what you've got, right? So obviously here I'm using Photoshop, but you don't have to do that. So the first thing is that when you see this head right here of Hugo, our main character, it didn't come out like this. I didn't start off drawing him like this. If you saw the underlying work of this, you would see that, in fact, I should probably find that file and open it and show you. You would see the underlying is, there's a lot of construction under it. So let me show you like the constituent parts of this. Let me pull this up here. Get some color.
Sorry, if y'all see me looking down, it's because I'm drawing on my tablet also at the same time. See? So that's...
So you've probably seen this. Everyone has probably seen this, where you have the circle. Like, this is kind of like the circle and the crosshairs is probably what a lot of you see when you've seen any artist drawing with any sort of construction. That's a very simplified form of doing this. You're going to start seeing that a lot. And a lot of that is orientation. When you're drawing a character, you need to be able to see where their nose is pointing. And it also adds dimension. Like right here, if we're looking at this, it's just looking forward, right? It looks flat. But obviously, if I was just staring straight at the camera, it would be that. But as you turn the character, it's like you imagine a sphere, right? Where now you're starting to see dimension. I don't have it in front of me, but I have this golf ball. Oh, hold on. I have it right here. You can take any, I'm going to switch views back real quick to the camera. One second. You can use any ball, right? It can be a tennis ball, whatever, but I suggest getting a ball. And I have a tennis ball here. A golf ball that it's kind of fading, but you can see that I've drawn these crosshairs on it. Can you see that?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And then I put a little face here in the front so you can be like, okay, this is the front. Hold on. That's cute, right? There you go. See?
That's so cute.
And so what this helps you is that if you're trying to imagine drawing the head and you're like, how would the cranium look? You could turn it and be like, okay, this is what the crosshairs will look like. I want them to kind of look down and to the right. Then this is what the crosshairs would look like, So get yourself one of these, draw crosshairs on it, and keep it with you because it will make a big difference. Now, in this deconstruction I'm going to do, this is there is a, I'm going to show you the deconstruction, but later when we build heads, there's different things that, different methods I used to do it, and we'll go over those. Okay, so let's, oops, oh, sorry. Let's start deconstructing his head here. So using what I just showed you with the, oh, I need to put it on the screen. Okay. Using what I was just showing you, let's start taking apart Hugo's head. So if we look at where his cranium is, and that's kind of an important distinction. A lot of people, when they draw, use that crosshair method on the, it gets oversimplified. Like they're like, okay, they'll draw this and be like, okay, that's the head. Well, that'll work with certain styles, right? But if you're drawing something a little more complex, you have to treat the head as two different pieces. You've got the cranium itself, and then you've got like the jaw, the mandible. There's a particular friend of mine on here who always gets mad when I call it a jaw. It's the mandible, excuse me. I'm gonna call it the jaw. The jaw is it's its own separate piece. So looking at Hugo here, I can look and go, okay, here's the orientation of this his cranium. So now we're already seeing the underlying framework. Think of it like if you were to take a house and like take the bricks off a house. When you take the bricks off the house, what would happen? You would see all the like the beams that hold up the house. That's what I'm showing you. And so this is the stuff we're going to be learning. We're going to say, okay, well, this didn't come out of my pen this way. I had to construct Hugo this way. And there's a couple things that we're going to learn when we go over like the different parts of building. If you look here, for example, the cool thing about doing this is that by doing this, you're already creating dimension. See right here, I can see where his nose is. I can see where his lips are. And then it goes down here. And now we have a 3D framework for it. And we'll learn all the various names for these parts and what I call them and how they work. But you can see right here that we've got the construction. And if I were to pull up the original art for this in the way that I, when I built this page, you're going to see exactly this under it. This is how I drew it. And everything down to even his, when I drew something like this, we'll even get down to like what his rib cage would look like. And then shoulders. So that's the level of like detail that I go in when I draw this stuff. Right? A lot of people get caught up with the hair and all the fun details. It's like everyone gets excited about the icing, right? Like when I was a little kid, I loved the Great American cookies that had all like the icing stuffed all over. Like, you know, when you had like a cookie cake and you like, you wanted the piece with all the icing.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
everyone wants that, right? They're like, oh, but I want to draw hair and I want to draw cool clothes. All that stuff will suck if your art is not structured properly. It'll slide off, right? If you've ever seen someone's art that's kind of like, that art's kind of shaky, right? Like it's like, it looks like it's holding on for dear life. It's because the structure, you know what I'm talking about, right? I can see some of my old stuff, like before I took this super seriously, and I was like, oh, wow. Like that's like hanging on for dear life. I was like, it just, for the moment I was enjoying putting on the icing, which was, right? Like, oh, the cool hair. Like everyone wants to have the cool spiky hair. And all. No, you have to earn that. That's kind of what I told myself, is that you have to earn being able to put hair and cool things like eyes and stuff like that. Because under this,
you're so right.
Right? Am I right? I can get a witness here?
This is, yes.
We're witnessing.
You're preaching. This is Church of RC.
That's
guys.
Right. Pass around the offering plate. So we'll also learn as we kind of dig into the construction is that what gives dimension to characters is that underneath here, when I drew this, I wasn't just like imagining this is just an opening here where his eyes open up. But if you notice, even his eyes are spheres, right? These are spheres. Your eyes and your head are not like flat. What do you call it? Like they're not like just what you see. It's like actually like your eye is probably as big as this golf ball, right? Like it's in here turning in your head, right? It's another sphere. And so when you think of your eyes that way too, as shapes that you build over, it's going to make a difference. Now, I don't want you to get intimidated by all this stuff I'm showing you, because when I'm just showing you deconstruction. We're going to go step by step through all this. I'm going to show you how all these pieces work together. But the point I'm wanting you to walk away with is structure, shapes, right? And when we say shapes, 3D shapes, right? Spheres, cubes, cylinders, all those things will come into place. I use the example of whenever you're downloading an image on your phone, and or you're waiting, internet's kind of slow, and it's kind of pixelated at first, and then more pixels come in and more, and finally it's a full image. That's how you have to think about art and drawing, is that you have to think that what you're drawing at first is low resolution, right? And then you add resolution to it as you go forward. Another thing that you'll notice, let me stop. I'm talking. Any questions, Lauren, comments? Ella? No.
I will say it also, for me personally, like eyes, I think can also be kind of different shapes depending on like what style you're trying to go for, because I've also done eyes as like football shapes rather than like full on like spheres.
That is such a good point. You know what? Actually, I'm glad you said that, because I'm going to stop here to show you this real quick. I'm so glad you said that. You guys need to know that art is a spectrum, right? Art is a spectrum. What that means is that what I'm teaching you, you have to is guidelines. It's not like you have to do this, right? Because art, it looks different based on a spectrum. So I'm going to draw you this little spectrum here, and this is non-scientific, but this is kind of what I call this is my spectrum, okay? And you've got this kind of spectrum here, and we've got right in the middle, and then on this side you've got what I kind of call like, super graphical, right? And then on this side you have hyper realistic on this other side. Okay. And what does that mean? Well, on this side, when we're thinking about super graphical, think Powerpuff Girls, think what's it called? What's that? Dexter's Lab.
Yeah, like Cartoon Network type,
Cartoon Network
cartoony.
kind of stuff. Yeah, exactly. That kind of stuff. Over here, even right before it, if we go just a step above it right here, there you've got Hey Arnold, right? I know I'm using like old examples, I'm sorry, but Hey Arnold football head, right? We've got over here. Then you start stepping a little bit more over here, and you've got like more as you start going this way on this chart, your art becomes more and more reliant on structure and anatomy, right? Because if you go to this other side with hyper realistic, this is like, think the Statue of David, right? Like Michelangelo, like super anatomically correct, am I right? Like is on this side, on this side of the scale, right? And so you are in hyper realism at this point. I draw kind of in this area right here. My stuff is kind of like in here, and I think you'll find that most stuff like that you like anime in particular, kind of falls in this kind of realm. Like if you're thinking like Attack on Titan, for example, it's probably more like over here, right? It's a little more realistic, but then as you start going this way, it gets a little more cartoony as you go this way.
Yeah, so, then you get into like Pokemon.
You get into Pokemon, right? You go over here, Pokemon, and anime of that nature. Now, I'm showing you this chart because there is no right way. You just have to pick where you want to draw. right? You may, and some
Yeah.
days you may want to draw hyper realistic stuff, and some days you might want to draw cartoony stuff. It just depends, but there is a spectrum of stuff, right? And so these rules that I'm applying to you, that I'm sharing with you, are going to apply differently depending on where you are. For example, over here, if you're drawing the Powerpuff Girls, they literally look like this, right?
They are shapes.
They are just literally like cutout shapes, right? And then as you start going, as you go this way over here, then you start getting into like, hey Arnold, right? We've got, okay, football head, but he's got a little more dimension, you know?
Mm-hmm. Okay, now I want to see you draw the statue of David.
Okay, 1 second. Then you got, oh no, his hair doesn't do that. He's got the hat, and then he's got hair like this. Oh my God, he looks like Pennywise. Maybe you should, I don't know if you should learn drawing from me, actually. Actually, go ahead and just sign off. Do not learn from me.
This whole art con was actually a mistake.
I swear I can draw. I swear. I actually draw a pretty cute character. I swear I can.
You're doing this from memory, too. So.
Well, and also in this area, like when you start drawing in here, if you're drawing things like Sonic the Hedgehog, for example, Sonic, hold on, we got to go blue. We can't draw him in red.
Exactly.
Sonic, right? So we've got these kind of characters over here. Then you start getting over here to this area, and as you cross over into this realm and we start going into hyperrealism, then you're going to start having characters who are, you start dealing with actual, like, anatomy, and you have to start drawing very structured. You have to start.
If any of you guys have seen the game Dispatch, the like video game, that's a good example of that like more realistic kind of style.
Right, so you start having all this, and look how quickly I'm drawing just based on knowing the structure, right? We've got this.
Yeah.
Right, so it's very different depending on where you are on this spectrum. Right, that spectrum is so, like, understanding where you are, and that should make you relax, right? Because a lot of people, I think what drives me crazy about stuff that I've seen when people teach is like, this is how it works. You have to do it this way. Well, if you want to draw it a certain way, yeah, all right, but you have to learn that you have to like chill out, like take a chill pill and be like, okay, it's not that big of a deal. Like, just, okay, if I'm drawing here, I know that if I'm drawing over here, I have to be super, in this realm, I have to be super constructed with the way I work. If I'm drawing over here, I can be a little more, just shapes. And that has a different form of structure. The Powerpuff Girls have, there's an aesthetic to it, right? And that's a little different than structure. It's more aesthetic than anything else. So I just want you to kind of like realize that and like, and like chill out and take a breath and go, right, it's a spectrum. It's not like, it's not like one thing applies. What I teach you during this training arc is not meant to be applied exactly the same across the whole thing. So I'm so glad. I normally talk about this, and Lauren reminded me about this. So I'm glad that you brought that up.
I'm glad.
Yes. So
before you keep going, RC, just so you know, I think your Slack notifications are turned off. We've only got 20 minutes left, so I just wanted to let you know. We've been trying to message you on the side.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Thank you for letting me. Sorry, I have it on. I need to get my other device so I can see
it's
it.
okay. It's no problem.
Okay, sorry about that.
That's okay.
So, um, basically, at the end of the time, the other thing that I want you to walk away with during this is, um, taking shapes, right? Like, so if I take this off, let's kind of look at the other shapes that are involved here. You know, a lot of people when they see Hugo's head, for example, they're like, his hair is hard to draw. Yes, it's very hard to draw. It is hard to draw, even for me, right? But the way that I've learned to draw him is I broke his head down into shapes. So not only do we have the basic shapes of his head that we talked about earlier, and we're going to do hair stuff too, which is going to be a lot of fun. Which I'm kind of like cheating and letting you do hair stuff because you really need to know like fundamentals. Like I said, you have to earn the hair. All right, I'm gonna give you
that we provided a base. It's fun.
We provided
stuff.
a base.
Fun
We provided a
That's
base.
so funny.
That's right. So okay, so we've got this part of his head, but let's take a look at his hair. If you were trying to figure out how to draw Hugo's hair, you'd be like, okay, let me break this into a few big shapes. Right? He's got this swoop that he always has. He's got kind of this like, I don't know what you guys, it's like a loaf of bread, you know, just depending on his hair changes depending on his mood. It's like a
loaf of bread.
It's like a loaf of bread, but you can see there's two. When I drew this, I use these different shapes to do it. I think I've got a better one here somewhere. Hold on. Okay, here's actually a little easier one to. So look at this one. So from here, by the way, this is something I used to cheat a lot. I used to cheat not wanting to draw his hair from the other direction because it was hard. And you know, but I was like, you gotta like grow up and like deal with it. So if you look at his head right here, look how this hair, it looks, when we've got his head right here, and we've got his hairline, which is super important, and we'll learn about hairlines when we're drawing. Everything's attached to this, right? So we've got right here, I didn't just like randomly put this hair, it's attached to where his hairline is. So big swoop goes like this. Got another swoop. And then I went in and started adding details to it and started carving out these shapes. It's almost like sculpting, right? It's like, imagine taking like a stone, like a big rock. I don't know how sculpting works. I'm not a sculptor. Like whatever. Stones,
I'm not
rocks,
a sculptor.
Whatever.
It's so funny.
I don't know what the technical term of it. Like, you know, what is it? What did you say?
Clay.
Well, yeah, but sometimes they chisel things, right? Like they chisel things out of
but I don't know. Is that sculpting?
Okay, what is that called when you chisel things out of?
Okay, so well, there's this all falls under the umbrella of 3D design.
Yeah, 3D.
And this is actually, fun fact, this is a requirement for drawing, for like any sort of a drawing major.
Is doing your
sculpting.
Sculpting?
Is doing doing a sculpting or like 3D design class.
But in this case, I agree with you, but sculpting and chiseling are very, very different, right? Like with chiseling, and what I mean by that is sculpting, you're taking a pliable material and creating a shape from it, right? You're like molding it into a shape. This is more like sculpting, or not sculpting, chiseling. I don't know what the technical term is. I don't want any like sculptors or whatever you call the people who make statues to come like attack me, like cancel me because I actually the reason is that I'm taking these large shapes. So you can imagine this being a stone right here, right? And then I'm taking my hammer and chiseling out the shapes, right? Like I'm like, okay, here are these shapes, and these are not random. These shapes right here are not random. They are originating from his hairline. I'm swooping them over, you see? And then I decide later to cut them out. So that's the same with hair. We'll learn that with everything. Anything that you want to learn to draw, you can take and break it down into its constituent shapes. I think the most important things you'll learn, if you think about, I kind of look at art from a couple of different things. There's structure, there's proportion, which we're going to learn about proportions, which are one of the most important things you will ever learn here. You do not want to miss the proportion class. That is literally the most above. If I were to rank them, it's actually, I even put it higher than structure. Like your structure doesn't matter if you don't really understand proportions.
Church of RC.
Yes. So
I
Yeah.
wholeheartedly agree. Proportions is your number one.
number one. So you don't want to miss that. But you can take anything and break it down. Like, you know what, Ella? I think we'll end up doing some profiles too. I'm like, we'll end up teaching some profile stuff too. It'll be a lot of fun.
That's gonna be great.
That's gonna be a lot of fun to do it. But when you, I'm trying to see here if I have a shape. Like for example, this, when I was drawing this blobby right here, this was a bunch of shapes that I slapped together first before it didn't come out like this. It was me putting a general shape here. I was like, okay, well, I need kind of this basketball sized shape here. I kind of generally knew where the face was going to be. And then I started applying, you know, I was like, okay, well, we got these eyeballs here. And then I started adding the details to it. You know, like, okay, then I want it to be like a slimy mess. So I just started making it ooze, but it has a structure, right? A basis from where it's built. So breaking everything down into the shapes is going to be super important. I'll show you one last thing here. How are we doing on time, Ella?
You've got about 10 minutes left. We could keep going. I just we'll lose Lauren
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
10
yeah,
Sorry,
minutes.
I have to go, but y'all can keep going if you want.
She's
So,
not a serious artist.
she's not a
like
serious artist
us.
anyway. We allowed her. She wandered
Wow.
off the street, and we let her kind of show up.
No, actually, the reverse is true. She doesn't need these classes.
She
She's
doesn't
already
need this.
good.
She's here out of pity.
They found me, you know, a sopping wet cat in the street living in a box.
So I want to take this one. This is another good one that I want to show you that we'll deconstruct. This particular scene right here. This is a really good one because you see kind of a side profile, and I'm going to show you the shapes that are kind of that were required to build this. And if you do the same with any art you like, and it's one of the main assignments I give to the artists that I work and train with, is most of their assignments at the beginning are all about deconstruction, just doing exactly what I'm doing now. So let's go here, and I'm going to show you this. So if we take Hugo and we find this head. I cannot wait to teach you guys the profiles. It's so much fun to draw profiles. Once you know the
They're
secret
so
of profiles,
fun.
they are fun. Once you learn the secret of how to do them, you're going to absolutely love them.
Yeah, agreed.
And one thing you're going to see me doing a lot once we get deeper into things is I use lots of boxes and cubes to create these scaffolding, I kind of call it, for the characters, for anatomy. See, like for example, in this drawing of Hugo right here, I didn't stop drawing here. I didn't stop drawing just because Scarlett's head is there. I drew his whole down to his pelvis, right? So that the anatomy would be right. And you can kind of see the curve of his spine right here. We've got the pelvis. Then obviously, here's where I didn't obviously draw the legs and stuff because I didn't do it that far, but I drew enough so that I could kind of see where everything was. There's so many things I'm going to teach you. I'm so excited. Like, one of the things you're going to learn too is like certain rules, like the 90-degree rule that I talk a lot about. It's like one of the problems a lot of artists have is like, well, where do I don't know where to draw the like, how long do I make arms and where do I put the elbow? A quick thing to do here, you'll learn this, but we'll go over it again later, is that if you notice here where the shoulder is and where the wrist is, you can draw a line, and then 90 degrees is where the elbow should be. And you should be able to do that in any position that the character's in. There's a 90-degree rule for that. You can do that with legs too. Anything that's like the joints, the arms and legs. And by doing that, you're going to know, oh, well, now I know where to put the hand. What I do is I normally draw the body, then I draw where I want the hand to be, and then I connect the shoulder to the wrist, and then I create a 90 degrees, and that's where I put the that's where I put it. And you can do that 90-degree test, and we'll do it on some other stuff, and you'll be like, oh, wow, this art that I thought was like, I knew there was something a little off by it, but I didn't know why. Well, look at that. See? 90 degrees.
I think what's so important too is obviously just being practical with yourself, like when you are starting to learn any skill, but also art, is you know when it's a little bit off. You know, like you know,
Right.
like this isn't quite right. And the trick is to not just be like, well, it's good enough or whatever. Practice means experimenting like until you get it right. It doesn't mean just practicing the wrong thing like over and over and over again. It means practicing, okay, that was a little bit off. Okay, now the next time I'm going to do it a little bit different. You know, it's not just practicing like, and once you get it right, then you practice the right thing. But it's not just like, okay, I'm going to practice a circle and then you draw an oval and then you're like, oh, I'm going to just keep drawing ovals. It's like, no, you have to practice the circle part, not just like doing the wrong thing. So it's important. Like I have to do that a lot with my own writing, and you know when I have to practice drawing and stuff too. It's like, Ella, you know that's wrong. Like don't like just leave and like, oh well, I want to move on to the next one. It's like you have to fix it. You know, you have to like go back and fix it. So
Absolutely. And I think a common thing that happens to a lot of artists too when they're learning, and this happened to me, is that you will, let's say you did this and I taught you this and you drew it and like, oh, I drew it perfect. And then you try to draw it from another angle and it doesn't work. Well, it worked because you saw me do it one time, right? And you're copying the same thing I'm drawing. You're never going to get it right off the bat. You have to be patient. It comes with, it's like being mad that you buy a guitar, you take one lesson and it's like, it doesn't, like, I can't play guitar. Like I can't thread this guitar. It's not how it works. It's like any skill. If you want to play sports, if you want to play, you know, our favorite sports anime that we talk about a lot around here is Haikyuu. Haikyuu, you know, look at Shoyo during the course of the series. Ella, I know you just finished the Ball Boy arc of it. You know, fundamentals.
terrible.
Fundamentals. You know, it's very difficult, but he allowed himself to be humble and go do that, right? And it's the repetition of those fundamentals and being like, it's okay to not be perfect right out the bat. It's impossible. It doesn't work that way. You have to train yourself to get used to it. A lot of it is, I found with my own, as I've gotten more and more skilled, and this is still happening, as I can, you never stop learning. You keep growing and you keep getting better. What ends up happening is your skills, your fine motor skills for your hands get more and more precise. Like if you watch me do any sort of like cleanup work, my cleanup work is really precise now compared to it was, you know, 10 years ago. I can do very, very precise line work. So when you see my line work, it's really clean. And it's just from the precision of the way that, you know, I've learned to just practice and draw and draw and draw over and over. So that's why the line art for my pieces of really fine line work. That didn't happen overnight. In fact, if I were to show you how I used to clean up 15 years ago, you'd be like, get off my screen. You'd be like, hang up, shut this stream down. No, actually, you should look at it from a source of inspiration. Like if this guy can do this, you can do it too, right? So I think what you should walk away with this opening session, as we're kind of getting ready to go into our other sessions, is I want you to be open to being vulnerable with yourself, to being like, look, it's okay. I want to get to a certain place. It's not about buying fancy equipment, right? A lot of people, when they get excited to go be artists, they go to Michael's or whatever, and they start buying all this expensive crap, or they start downloading. No, you don't need that. Don't let anyone tell you that. Don't waste your time on that. Get a paper and pencil, right? Like paper and pencil.
Yes.
Download a free program, whatever. You do not need, it's like me, if I went and bought like a grand piano right now, like the fine, like Steinway grand piano, I could barely play chopsticks on it. All right. It's not the piano. It's not the piano that makes me good. Right. It's a tool. It's an instrument. It's my skill that makes the piano work. Right. And so that's why I'm like, don't get caught up with, oh, I need all this fancy stuff and I need all this fancy software. No, don't. What you need is dedication, and you need to draw a few minutes every day. You need to keep a sketchbook on you all the time, and you need to just draw your heart out. It's just like we said, with sports, with music, with being a chef, with any sort of skill. It's dedication and it's repetition and learning the fundamentals. You will not get anywhere if you don't learn the fundamentals. And why are the fundamentals, they sound boring? Because you're like, oh, I want to get to the icing. I want to draw the hair and I want to draw the clothes. Yeah, we all want to get, like I told you, it will suck if you don't get the fundamentals. And the fundamentals are so much fun once you get past you need to have like a suspension of like, what is that called? Delayed gratification. You need like delayed gratification, okay? You need to learn that. You saw earlier when we were doing when I was doing this and how quickly I drew this little bro over here with the structure. This came from knowing, like, I can draw very quickly now, very quickly, because I know the fundamentals. If you want to draw quickly and fast and you want to not, like, I'll tell you, when I used to draw, it used to take, oh my God, Ella knows, because like it used to take hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours to draw a piece, right? Now I can draw, like, if just a single, like, just a full body of a Hugo kind of character would have taken me 8 hours to draw. Now I can take that from drawing to clean up within 2 hours. I think if I were just do a simple, like, if it was like a promotional piece, like it doesn't take that long for me to do it now because of that. So anyways, any other thoughts, Ella or Lauren, before we...
Good. You said the right name. Yeah, I would just say that, like, for me, I was literally doing the thing where, like, I don't know, when I was first starting to really get into art in like elementary school, the thing that I was doing was literally taking, like, printing out like images of like my favorite characters, like Tails from freaking Sonic, right? And I was literally doing like tracings of them.
Yes.
Just because, like, something, and I just want y'all to know that that's not like cheating or whatever. That's perfectly okay, and it's actually really it's actually like a proven technique to help, because you're literally studying the, like, you know, how the shapes flow and like what the anatomy looks like. And if you do that a couple of times, then you find yourself actually drawing that way when you're doing it without a reference. So I don't know, that's a thing that I always suggest for new artists, is to, like, hey, you know, just start by like making like tracings and stuff of your favorite characters and go from there. As long as you're not claiming it
I'm so
as like
glad
your
you said
own.
that. I'm so glad you said that, because it's you learn by seeing how things are made, right? That's why we keep talking about reverse engineering. You reverse engineer everything, and that's how you pick up. And by the way, everyone's style comes down to a mix of a lot of other people's styles, right? Like, you learn from other people and you adopt things that you like. Oh, I like how this person draws ears. I like how this person draws hair. No one has a style that just kind of comes out of the blue, right? It's influenced by other people. Some people get so, right? Like, you know, everyone gets caught up with, well, what's my style? I want my style. Well, your style is, you know, stop trying to be unique. And what I mean by that is, don't get caught up with trying
Conform. No,
conform. Being unique is no different. So being obsessed with being unique is no different than being obsessed with perfection, right? When you get obsessed with perfection, you don't do anything. And the same thing with uniqueness. If you get obsessed with, I have to be unique, you freeze up, right? It doesn't mean you will be unique. You will be unique, right? But it comes out of the natural process of developing your own style, and learning, right? It's not from It's not from like, it's not something you put um, on a checklist, right? You don't put on a checklist, I want to be unique, and then cross it off. It doesn't work that way.
Mhm.
So yeah. So
That's my thoughts, and I'm so sorry to interrupt, but I do
no,
need to peace out.
go. This is actually a good time for that. So
I wanted to put that in there before I hit it out because I was like, for me, that's like a really important starting point for people. So
yeah,
Mm.
absolutely. So start. In fact, what would be good is like as you get ready to join us for our other sessions, um, be sure to look up. Start if you haven't already. And Lauren, go ahead. Go ahead. I know you got to run. Go ahead.
Bye,
okay, no,
Lauren.
you're good. You're good.
Yeah. Go ahead.
This was super fun, y'all. Bye.
Bye. I know that a lot of you may already be doing this, and your camera roll may have lots of art that you've saved from stuff that you like. Start putting that like on your computer and put it in a folder where you can start going in and tracing over, and you'll go, why do I like this? In fact, there's a video series I'm starting. I already shot the first episode. There was this. Some of you may have seen it. Not the episode, but this manga page that was circulating on Twitter a couple weeks ago. People were like losing their mind. It's beautiful, beautiful like piece. And I was like, why is this so good? And so I took it and I started like dissecting it to be like, well, why is this such a great piece of art? And we dissected it. And so you should do the same with your own. Take your art and start like drawing over it and be like, why do I like this? And you'll start noticing little things. And I use the example, and I'll repeat this over and over. It's the difference between, if you're going to be an artist, you have to learn to like start walking in the city. And what I mean by that is some people who are looking at your art, think of them like as being in an airplane, right? Like when you're flying over New York City, it looks beautiful. You can see all the shining lights. It's very beautiful, but it's very different to be in the city walking the streets, right? The sights, the smells, the sounds, it's a very different thing. The collection of all that is what creates your aesthetic and what creates the feel of your work. And so when you see me getting super obsessive about like seeing a piece of work and dissecting it, is because that's me going into the city and walking the streets and learning it. And that that's what sets mediocre artists apart from the ones who really create work that you like, because there is love of the detail of their work. And when I say detail, I don't mean everything is like, oh, I'm going to draw every strand of hair. That's not what I mean by detail. I mean the constituent parts that make up that work have intention behind them, right? My work, I'm very intentional about everything I do. Like how many, I don't actually count the number of lines, but what I mean is like the feeling of the number of lines of hair that I draw, or the amount of lines that I draw on the face, or whatever. All that's intentional. And less of those details collectively will make a difference aesthetically to my art. And that's the same with any art that you like. Go look at any art that you like and think, if they just didn't do X, Y, and Z, how that art would look different, right? Maybe it's the shading. Maybe they're really great at shading. I don't know. All those things collectively make a difference. So bottom line is, we're going to learn a whole lot during the next couple of days. We're going to go through a whole bunch of different things. You're going to see me learning, and you're going to see us, like me, teaching you different things. I want to encourage you to jump into our server. It's open. Ella was just talking about earlier that we have a place where you can go share your own art. You can go share art, make friends with folks in our Discord. We have a really awesome Discord. Like, we work very hard to keep it really like fun place, constructive. It's a great place to be. A lot of friends are made in there. So if you want to jump in there, now's your time to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to do this. Ella's going to be learning along too with us, and it's going to be a good time. So our next session is in 2 hours, right? So 12:30 Central, we will see you guys back, and we'll move on to the next The next lesson.
And that one, you're going to want your bases. So the base is on our Patreon free tier or in our Discord. We made specifically an earless version so that, because we're going to be learning about ears and eyes and eyebrows and stuff like that. So there's specifically an earless one. But this is going to be a quick base, because then later in the week we'll be learning proportions and heads and stuff. So this is just more kind of like a fun side quest before we get to
we're doing kind of the icing first a little bit, just to get you guys loosened up.
Just for fun.
Just
yeah,
for fun. You know, like
yeah.
you have to have fun. If you don't have fun,
yeah.
then your work is going to suck. Actually, another one of my sayings, you know, I'm full of these. It's not my saying. It's like I see all these sayings. And one saying that I really like was, I don't remember who said it or where it was attributed to, but this author was saying, if I don't like writing it, the reader is not going to like reading it. And I've really adopted that into my own, in everything I do. If I'm drawing a manga page, if I'm not having fun drawing the page, I redo it. Like I start a new layout, whatever, because if it's not fun for me, that's going to come out in the work, and you're going to feel that too. It's not going to be fun for you. So that's the same with writing. If you're not having fun writing something, I kind of guarantee that the chances are high that the people reading your work probably won't have a good time either, because it does permeate your work. So having fun is important. So we're going to start with the fun stuff. I know I was talking about the icing and all that. We'll start with the icing. I'm going to kind of like let you chill out and have a good time. We're going to do icing stuff, but then we're going to do the serious stuff.
Because then tonight we're gonna start a complete piece from scratch. You're welcome to draw along and do the same pose or start your own piece. And then over the next 3 days, tonight and then the next 2 days, we're gonna be finishing the piece. So today is really about structure, with a little bit of fun sprinkled in. So
a little bit of fun.
That.
We've allowed a little fun. A lot of little fun.
Yeah.
So go sign up. Go join our server. Our Discord, our Kickstarter, we have a online character journal that's really cool, that's about to launch on Kickstarter. I think Ella just dropped the link in there. You should absolutely check that out. It launches Friday. We are OC capital in our little ecosystem here, so you definitely want to go check that out. There's also benefit to joining our free Patreon if you're not on it. Free Patreon allows you to get all sorts of access to stuff that normally, even at the free tier, special events, updates, and things like that. So be sure to check that out. All right. So we will see you guys in 2 hours. Get your stuff together, and we'll have some fun. See you in a bit.
Bye.